Hello Pack 794. So this quick tutorial will show you how to build the rocket for our rocket launch on Saturday. The first step is I will go to the list of parts that are included, and there's some other equipment and supplies that we will need to have to complete the rocket. So the first step is there'll be a set of instructions to go through, and I will walk you through each step a little bit later. So the first part will be the body of the rocket. It's a silver color tube. There will be the base of the rocket. You will also have a streamer, orange color streamer. We will have a shock cord, which is kind of a little rubber cord. We have the cone. You will also have the launch lug that you will have at the that will be used at the top of the rocket that we see here. And the last part is the engine hook that we'll be installing. In terms of, and oh yes, there's a little sticker, but you can also decorate your rocket like this one, 794. With little stickers. In terms of items and supplies that are not included, you'll need glue, super glue, probably the best. And again, probably the parents want to be involved in that part, not to have sticky fingers. You'll need a pen or pencil, ruler, knife, again, for parents' use, unless you're a scout that have earned the whittling chip. And you'll also need a little piece of tape. And yeah, so that completes. And I will also include some pictures of these supplies. Okay, the first step, you'll see at the bottom of the first page of the instruction, is to insert the little piece called insert into the cone of the rocket. So we'll just put a little bit of glue on the insert and just glue it to the cone. Just make sure it stays there, and we'll just let it dry for now. So I'll just be done for the glue. The second part, and that's where it probably gets a bit more complex part. So basically what we will have to do, like you see on this completed one, is we need to install the base of the rocket as well as the engine hook. And we'll also install here that blue part, which is the launch lug. So this is where we're going to need the ruler. We need to just make a little mark at the top, and it's we need to mark it at 1.5 inches. So I'll just mark this is to about here at the top, and I'll make a mark at 1.5 inches at the bottom, and those both marks should be aligned. That's going to be critical, because what we'll want to do, and I'll probably repeat that a couple of times, is that once we insert the lug and the base, you'll see that there are 2 holes, and they're going to need to be aligned. Like when this one is completed, you can see that the holes are aligned. And actually, this is where we're going to use our, we can use our stick skewer to make sure that we have both holes lined up. Okay, the next step is I make a little puncture in the tube, where I set up these lines at 1.5 inches. Okay. So it's probably going to be difficult to see, but I made those 2 holes, one here and one puncture here. So next step is to insert our hook for the engine. So it should be like this. So there should be a little bit that will come past the tube. Again, if we look at our completed one, you can see this is what it's going to look like. Okay, the next step will be to take our base, okay, and just make sure that that part of the base goes down, and we're going to insert it from the top. And the key thing here is to line up. Let me just show before. There's a line that will slide. You see that there's an opening, and it will slide right into the hook. So we just slide it, and again from the top, from the bottom will probably work, but it's going to be a big struggle. So then we put some glue around the tube. And just slide it slowly, and probably, maybe around, it looks like this. So the hook will come out, and basically the base should be lined up with the bottom of the tube, and then we just let it, we're gonna let it dry. Okay, the next phase will be to install our shock cord, and so what we need to do is at the top puncture here, we'll just push a little bit down with the pencil, or if you have a skewer here, and then we're going to slide it, just slide it up, and then with the help of the pencil or the skewer, we just slide it all the way up. Okay, so then what we want to do is just to keep probably a little bit of the cord hanging, and that's where we're going to add our lug. So I'll just slide through the lug, and we need to get the glue ready. So here's a trick now, very important, is we need to line up the lug, the hole in the lug, with the hole at the bottom, at the base. Okay, so I'll add some glue around the cord, and making sure that my holes are lined up. Just slide it over the cord. Just making sure this is lined up before it dries. I'll just slide the skewer, making sure it's well lined up, because what we're going to do is when we launch, there's going to be it's going to be a similar, the launch pad will have a rod that will go through these 2 holes, and that's how the rocket will. So what I do is, next step is, just before we move forward, is just to make sure everything is well glued. If you've used super glue, should be fine. We have our holes lined up, and the rest should be pretty easy. We come back, bring back the cone, make sure it's well glued, and we do a double nut with the cord. The next step is, you've seen these little paper. They were not in the package, they would have been delivered separately. So this is to prevent the melting of the quote-unquote parachute when it's stuffed in the rocket. So we just crumple it and slide it down, and that's where we use the pencil or the skewer just to push it down to the base. Can probably add a second one, and we just bring it down to the base. About half, maybe up to here. Because after that, we're going to have the engine coming in. Okay. The next phase is to tie this little flag, and that's where our little tape comes in. We just put it there at the base, then we hook it to the cord. And basically what this is going to do is once a rocket goes up, the cone will come off and it's going to slow down the rocket when it comes down, and we can recover and eventually reuse it. So just make sure, and if you want to put a second little tape, that's fine. And then we're just going to roll this little flag and we'll stuff it in the rocket. Okay, now the final phase is just to send everything down, stuff it in the rocket. And that completes our rocket. So if you have any question, please send me an email or talk to your den leader. And we'll see you on Saturday for wonderful lunch.